If IDEC is honest, if Advocate Johnson is honest, he's going to come here before this committee and take an oath and confirm what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is not a lie. I'll prove it. I want to invite these members to get a profile of the arresting officer of General Khumalo and the team, Mr. Padayachee. Get his profile. You're going to know that Padayachee is an ex-crime intelligence member who has never touched a case docket in his life. But IDEC employed him as the senior investigator responsible for the arrest of Khumalo. He's the one who's a boss in that case. This is a person who's now employed to work in an entity of government that is charged with the responsibility in terms of the Amendment Act of the NPA, that they must deal with serious and complex cases. Well, I don't know whether is it serious and complex case to arrest people for having sat in the panel like you are sitting here, and you make recommendations to the higher structure that is going to appoint. You facilitate this process at a committee, you are taking it to Parliament. The Parliament will take it further. In the police, a committee that is arrested, it's a committee that Khumalo is part of. One of the charges is that Khumalo manipulated by forming the committee himself. It is before the court, honorable chair members, that Khumalo did not even recommend that panel. It is General Matondo who signed a letter to the National Commissioner to recommend a panel where Khumalo was included as a member of the panel.
So is it the evidence of the general that Mr. Padayachee is possible the sender of the rogue section at IDEC?
I will argue that he's not.
Okay.
He's an enabler. He's a pawn in the game.
Okay.
He's the one that's been used. You know, as when you in your house, you're going to have the small dog that is very sensitive to noise, is going to bark, and then you have the real big dog that will tackle an enemy. So that's what Padayachee is.
And I hope that the general, I hope that the general is not saying Padayachee is a dog. Eh?
No. I did not say he's a dog. I said he's a pawn in the whole scheme of things. He's the one that is more the runner. He's the one that goes to the Inspector of Intelligence to negotiate things. He's the one that goes to court and demand cause. He's the one that the magistrate, in the bail condition of the members of crime intelligence, the magistrate give Padayachee an authority to access crime intelligence. If these members want anything at crime intelligence, they must get it from Padayachee. So Padayachee, being an ex-crime intelligence member, is given a carte blanche to enter from point A to point B of the Office of Crime Intelligence by the court of this country.
My affidavit, I, the undersigned Brian Padayachee, hereby make an oath and state the facts to which I depose herein are within my knowledge, true and correct. I'm an adult male employed at the National Prosecuting Authority as a senior investigator assigned to the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, IDEC. I'm a retired colonel of the South African SAPS. I've served the SAPS for 38.5 years. I attained the bulk of my service and experience in the SAPS and within the Divisional Crime Intelligence. I was headhunted and thereafter appointed as a senior investigator in October 2021 on contract by the former investigating director, Advocate Hermine Cronje, who was the head of the investigating directorate at that time. The IDEC was located in the NPA. During this period, I was designated in terms of Section 28 of the NPA Act and actively involved in what is known as state capture investigations. I attended several workshops on financial investigations, money laundering, tender fraud, FATF, cybercrime held by the NPA, IDEC, and Association of Accredited Fraud Examiners. The ID, as a result of the NPA Amendment Act, became the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption, a permanent unit within the NPA. I was appointed to a position referred to above by the President Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa on the 1st March 2022. The appointment was made in terms of Section 13(1)(b) of the National Prosecuting Authority Act. In February 2025, I was appointed permanently in the IDEC as a senior criminal investigator. I depose to this affidavit in response to a notice issued in terms of Rule 3 of the Rules of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System arising from the allegations made public by Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, on the 6th of July 2025. The notice requires me to deal with the following issues on which Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi testified. First, I was appointed to a senior position within IDAC despite lacking the required skills, experience, and qualifications. I have used my role to influence and control investigative outcomes, court proceedings, in particular the criminal charges against Lieutenant General Khumalo and his co-accused as related to the employment of Brigadier Mokwele. I deal with the issues identified above later in this affidavit. Before I do so, there are various issues I need first to deal with if my answers to the issues identified above are to be sensible. Thus, I have structured this affidavit as follows. First, I deal with the allegation that I was appointed to a senior position within IDAC despite lacking the requisite skills, experience, and qualifications. Second, I use my role to influence and control investigative outcomes, court proceedings, in particular the criminal charges against Lieutenant General Khumalo and his co-accused. Third, I conclude. The appointment, skills, experience, and qualifications. I have already pointed out when I was appointed to IDAC and how long I had previously been involved with investigations at the time. In what follows below, I intend to expand on these aspects. Insofar as Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi suggested that I'm not qualified for my job, I've attached annexure marked BP1, a copy of my certificate for a detective course that I successfully attended in 1998. For the sake of completeness, I have also attached annexure BP2, a copy of the allocations of points awarded to me during the detective course. It is worth mentioning that I was awarded the honor of being the top student in my class upon the conclusion of the detective course. I have extensive management experience and operational experience spanning over a period of 44 years. The statement says 43. At the time it was made, it's 43. It's now 44 years of my law enforcement career. During this period, I completed various investigative courses and attended various investigative workshops on investigations. I have completed 2 investigative courses hosted by the United States of America and France. These courses enhance my operational, investigative, and management skills. The courses and workshops I attended to also included fraud, money laundering, financial investigations, a project approach to specialized investigations, crime intelligence, undercover investigative techniques, counterterrorism, and financial investigations. I have attached 2 copies of these certificates marked annexures BP3 to BP10. Commissioner, I have a diploma in police administration. It was awarded to me in 1992. I have attached a true copy of my certificate in this regard. It is marked BP11. It remains to indicate that it is graded NQF level 6. I also have a national certificate in police administration awarded in 1985 and a national higher certificate policing awarded in 1999. It is marked BP12 and BP13. Now I'm at this point, I also make available and attach the advert in response to which I was appointed. It is marked BP14. Thus, I put it up front that the allegations that I was appointed to a senior position within IDAC in the circumstances where I do not have the requisite skills, experience, and qualifications is void, empty, and bereft of a factual foundation. It is baseless. Before my appointment, I have been involved in many successful criminal investigations. It is appropriate for me to mention a few. At the time of my appointment, I investigated and/or had previously been involved the Inchanga massacre in the year 2000, so involved that I received a commendation from the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal. See annexure marked BP15. The Plesisla Project Task Team. During the violence in the Etondale-Plesisla area in KwaZulu-Natal, there were many people that lost their lives as a result of the violence and gang violence within the area. I investigated and followed leads which led to successful arrest of suspects for a double murder. It must be mentioned that this was a closed, cold docket that was initially a MI2P docket, malicious injury to property docket, which I looked at, perused at, and later established through further investigation that it was actually a murder docket and not an MI2P. The circumstances of that docket was the deceased, the suspects went to the deceased house and first burnt his clothes. And at the later stage, he was attacked and butchered together with his friend. This operation, the suspects were arrested during a coordinated operation which I was involved in. Several other arrests and seizure of firearms resulted in the Presisar precinct. As a result, I was awarded a certificate of recognition by the Mayor of Pietermaritzburg. A copy is attached, marked BP16. The Richmond Task Team, named Ops Pack 2, we are well aware of the violence during the Richmond time when I think it was well known throughout the country on the number of massacres that took place in Richmond. In Dabazita massacre, the Dlamini massacre. I was deployed to the Richmond Ops Pack 2 during the violence and mass murders in Richmond, KwaZulu-Natal. The arrest of the wanted suspect in Western Cape. The murder suspect, a member of the notorious Cash Money Brothers, CMB, was involved in several shootings and had evaded arrest. This suspect had a habit of shooting people in the face. In this instance, I investigated, traced, and arrested the suspect in the Western Cape. The arrest received mass media attention and commendations was received from the National Commissioner, Provincial Commissioner Detectives for the successful arrest of the suspect. In this regard, I point you to Annexure BP 17. The attempted abduction, kidnapping of a businessman's daughter. I refer in this regard to Annexure BP 18. Not only have I investigated a number of cases I would characterize as high profile, I have also testified in various criminal court proceedings in both the High Court and the Magistrates' Court. I cannot dwell into the merits of the cases which I have been appointed to investigate and which have been mentioned before this Commission as they are sub judice. I do not intend to compromise court proceedings concerned with those various investigations. To elaborate on that, I have yet to testify in the criminal proceedings before the presiding officer. The charges preferred against the respective accused in the cases that I am the lead investigator will therefore be ventilated appropriately by the courts seized with hearing these matters. I was surprised when General Mkhwanazi mentioned my name in his press briefing, and again during his testimony during the commission. This is because I had prior telephonic contact with him long before his press briefing. In actual fact, Commissioner, just to pause there, when General Mkhwanazi stood on that podium at the press briefing and he spoke about corruption, I was applauding him. He is one of, in the 44 years that I've been in the service and in law enforcement, he is one of the best that addresses corruption and crime directly. So I applauded him. Not only had I had contact with him prior to his press briefing, just to recap, sir, I had prior telephonic contact with him long before his press briefings. Not only had I had contact with him prior to his press briefings, I had the occasion to interview him. He also provided me with an affidavit in support of one of the IDAC investigations related to crime intelligence investigations. I cannot disclose the details of General Mkhwanazi's affidavit, nor provide same to the Commission, as the matter is still under investigation. To substantiate my contact and communication held with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, I attach here 2 screenshots of the messages and phone calls held with General Mkhwanazi prior to and after he provided me with the affidavit. They are marked BP 19 and BP 25.
Colonel, I've gone through all 7 texts. They appear to be neutral in content. You say you are traveling to Durban and that you would like to meet, and a few of the chats then mention where you are,
and you inquire where his office is, it's that kind of conversation. And he, of course, is responding.
Yes.
Also in that neutral manner.
Yes.
What I'm interested in is what you are seeking to establish by providing us with these texts.
Thank you, Chair. The WhatsApp messages
Yes.
and the interactions shows the type of communication we had. The reason being is that we had communication, we have an understanding, we have a working relationship, we know each other. The communications don't come across as, like how it is now, if I can say. These were approachable conversations. During these conversations, he told me where he was. I met him. He was outside the Provincial Commissioner's office. He had his short pants next to his white bakkie, hands in the pocket. I had my hands in my pocket too, although he was a general, and we were chatting. We thereafter proceeded to his office where we had a conversation with regards to what I required of him. From there, at a later stage, we met again, this time at his house, where we had the same conversation. And I had his affidavit. I ran him through the affidavit of the first conversation when we first met, what it's all about. The affidavit was prepared. We discussed the affidavit. The affidavit concerns a Major General who's one of the suspects in my cases, and what was outlined in his affidavit. He looked at the affidavit, he confirmed the affidavit, he signed the affidavit. What's more, when you look at the WhatsApp messages, you can see the greetings. You can see the friendliness in the greetings. A blessed Easter. Hi, Brian, first name. Blessed Easter to you and your family. It's not ordinarily how a senior ranking officer will address a subordinate. It will be official, whatever. But you can see the way we are interacting and relating to each other. During the time at his house in Umhlanga, in his home, we had a cordial chat about corruption and everything that's going. And I was always in praise of him because we had met on numerous occasions before. And in that particular meeting, Commissioner, he was aware, because I told him General Khumalo is going to be arrested. He was aware also that other generals were going to be arrested too as well. And his response to me, well, they must face their own situations. He was comfortable. There was nothing abnormal. He was not angry, anything. And we sat in the lounge for quite some time. And then after he wished me well, everything, and I took my leave. So not very long after that, or a while later, the operation on the first matter commenced, which resulted in the arrest of 4 senior officers from crime intelligence. Everything was fine. There was no issues.
Are you perhaps suggesting that if there was anything the matter, you would have expected him to react differently to you when you made contact through these chats?
Exactly, Chair. From the time of our first meeting, where we chatted in his office, the time that we spent in his lounge, I'm invited to his home, not to his office the second time, to his home. So the scenario itself tells you the trust in your home, where your family is. So what I'm saying, the Commissioner, he was aware, he had no problems with what we were doing. And when the second arrest, or the second takedown operation on the second matter, we have several case dockets and several matters that we were busy at that stage that we're going to follow in a sequence. So the first matter commenced, there was going to be a break, a second matter would have commenced, a break, then a third matter would have commenced. When the second matter commenced, I was not involved in the arrest of the accused, but I was at the police station. I need to mention, Commissioner.
The first matter, is that the one where you say 4 generals were arrested, or 4 senior subs members were arrested. Is that the first matter?
The first matter is 1 general
Oh, yes.
and two senior officers and a warrant, well, he was a warrant officer at that time.
Yes. And then and the general, was that General Kumalo?
The first one?
Yes.
No, that was the CFO, General Lushaba.
All right, all right. And then the second matter, which one was that?
The second matter was General Kumalo, General Lekalakala, General Lushaba, General Gabela, General Madondo, Brigadier Mkhwanazi, and Brigadier Ngube. That was the second matter.
All right, thank you. Thank you. If you want to continue, you may, but you've answered me, because I just wanted to understand what you are seeking to convey when you refer us to these chats.
No problem.
Thank you.
And because you've touched on it, Commissioner,
Yes,
what I
yes.
wanted to say is that...
And I'm not stopping you. If you want to continue, you may.
No problem, Commissioner.
Yes.
It's because I'm on that point that I just want... I know we're going to come back to those annexures.
Yes.
I'm just want to just put it in context that General Mkunazi was fine with the first case of General Shaba. He was fine with the second case of General Kumalo on the 27th. On the 28th, I was at Howick participating in a combat rifle competition, so my cell phone was on silent, it was off. During the latter part of the afternoon, this is directly after the arrest of General Kumalo, there were 2 calls that came, 2 missed calls, with a couple of minutes in between, missed calls. So when I got hold of my phone, I saw missed calls, and I sent him a message to say that, General, apologies, I missed your call. I will contact you back.
So
yes.
the missed calls were from General
The missed calls were from General Mkhwanazi.
All right.
So what happened is that I sent the message, but it only showed 1 tick, that he didn't read it. So I carried on with what I was doing, and obviously it's a long day and whatever, I didn't follow through with that. And the message wasn't read the Sunday and the Monday, and obviously with all the messages now, everything just pushes down, and all your later messages come out. So I didn't bother about it until the 6th of July, when I saw the press briefing and General Mkhwanazi giving the press briefing, and I was excited. So.
Yeah, I think yes, you are going to get there at a later stage.
I'm going to continue.
Maybe we should stop there and then you continue with, is it paragraph 24? I think.
It would be paragraph 24, but before you get there, just a issue for clarity so that we dispose of it. At your paragraph 22, you reference the affidavit you obtained from General Mkhwanazi. You indicate that this is in relation to an ongoing investigation into, or it's an ongoing crime intelligence investigation, and you beg leave not to disclose the contents of this affidavit. My question is this affidavit part of any dockets that IDEC has disclosed to us now, or it is in respect of a different investigation?
Thank you, Council. Commissioner, this affidavit was made, I took General Mkhwanazi's affidavit, I think it probably was in April 2025, which is about 2 months to 3 months before that. That affidavit is in the docket and has been, I don't think it's been disclosed as yet. It is not disclosed as yet. But I'm pretty much sure you have a docket. Yes, it is in the docket that's disclosed to you, the 3rd docket. Thank you. Apologies.
Okay, now just to perhaps for some guidance, is it in the quote-unquote confidential docket or one of the other 3?
It's in the confidential docket.
Okay.
That's the two Brooklyn matters.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm clarified. You may then continue from paragraph 24.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thus, I am surprised that General Mkhwanazi did not inform the Commission at all about his interaction with me. The affidavit he submitted to me, nor him trying to reach me telephonically a few days before the press briefing. I was subpoenaed to testify at the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture, corruption and fraud in the public sector, including organs of state better known as the Zondo Commission or State Capture Commission. regarding serious corruption and the capture of various state institutions. I refer the Commission to my annexures BP 26 and BP 28. In this regard, I even had an affidavit compiled and submitted to the Zondo Commission, marked BP 29. I draw the Commission's attention to the requirements for the position I occupy. Not only have I the formal qualifications that were required for it at the relevant NQF levels, I have the requisite experience attained over many decades. This brings me to the conclusion on the questions I was required to answer. I am more than qualified for the work that I am doing as a senior investigator at IDAC. My formal qualifications, 44 years of experience, knowledge, skills, and recognitions and commendations acquired through the years of my service as a law enforcement officer is testament of my credentials, which I do not need to defend. I have taken the trouble to read the transcript of the evidence of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. There is no foundation for his conclusion that I use and/or have used my position to influence and control investigative outcomes and court proceedings. In particular, the criminal charges against Lieutenant General Khumalo, his co-accused, as related to the employment of Brigadier Makwele. Should I be required to answer questions flowing from this affidavit and any matters in respect which it has been determined that I will be assistance to the Commission, subject to timeous notice and the right to legal representation, I would be willing to make myself available for such. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Kernel, and you have indeed made yourself available. Is there anything else you would like to add to the statement before we move to the next one?
I think before we even go there, so that we can get an understanding of the position I am in, the emotion involved in the matters. What we have to understand, Chair, that it's been for more than 3 decades that crime intelligence has been the front in the media space on corruption. There is not a single divisional commissioner that has held his post and stayed there. Most of them were charged for corruption, or allegations of corruption, and removed, and there was always acting. Crime intelligence is a very closed environment, a dangerous environment too as well. There were inquiries and maybe criminal cases open, but some of them came nowhere. This matter that came to IDAC via a referral led to something unprecedented, that it led to the arrest of the executive of crime intelligence. To go to the people, the senior manager of crime intelligence, I start with General Khumalo. General Khumalo, I considered him as a friend. That's why I wanted to make this known to the Commission before we go on. I've known General Khumalo since 2006, when he was just promoted to a captain. He often used to come out of the provincial office building, stand there, and we used to chat. He used to greet me, "Hi Brian, how you interact?" But it was a short while, and then he moved on. I think he was promoted and came up to Pretoria. I know him well. So for several years, we never had contact. In 2022, 2023, he was appointed as the acting divisional commissioner of crime intelligence, and I was excited for him.